Hi, I'm Mr. Menashe, Head of Classics at Bablake School, and welcome to our talk on Latin A-Level. Latin is a subject that is really suitable for you if you have a real passion for literature and the roots of language. It is something where you would need to have done the subject at GCSE, but we don't insist on a particular grade. What we do insist on, though, is that you are really motivated and you're really interested and you're keen to work because they are the people who are most likely going to succeed in a subject. Latin is a subject that is really highly regarded by employers. It opens doors for you if you have studied Latin, although it is not essential for any career. Captains of industry, many of them have studied Latin, and it still has a certain value as regarded by employers. And many people have gone on to actually have great careers after studying Latin. For example, J.K. Rowling studied Latin and classical civilization at university. Football manager Frank Lampard has certainly done Latin A-Level, but there's some really quite surprising ones as well on there. The scientist James Dyson studied ancient history and Latin at university. Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook also is a classicist. And what it shows is that really Latin does not shut any career off. Studying Latin does not mean that you're going to be standing here, like me, a few years down the line, giving a talk. You could end up in all kinds of careers, all kinds of financial careers. A few years ago, I taught a pupil, and he is now the managing director of Zizi Restaurants, and I taught him, and he went on to study classics and ancient history at university. So there really is, the whole world is your oyster if you study Latin. Our results over the years have been very good. Most students in recent years have gone on to get grade A's in Latin. What you are most likely to find is that you're part of a small group, a very tight-knit group, a group where you work very closely with a few other people. And that means you can get much more personalised teaching. And even in terms of choosing what we do, we can look at your particular strengths as an individual as to which options you actually take. So, if you were to study Latin at A-Level, in the lower sixth, we go back over all of the grammar and vocabulary that you have previously studied. So if you've got a few gaps, and everyone does, we will go back over and fill them. You also study in that year 2 set texts from a choice. So you have to study some prose, you have to study some verse, but you're not tested at the end of that year. And we choose those texts for you, but you can guarantee that they are exciting and dramatic texts and really good representation of Latin literature. In the upper sixth year, you study again another 2 different texts. They might be the same authors, but they might be different authors. So you could find yourself reading about the epic tales of Troy and the founder of Rome, Aeneas, or the founder of Italy, Aeneas. You could find yourself reading about the brutal acts of Roman emperors in Tacitus. You could find yourself reading some love poetry. There's a really good range of literature that you can actually study. You also have to take 2 literature papers in that year, one on prose literature, one on verse literature at the end, which test you on both years' courses. You also have a translation paper. So one verse translation, one prose translation, and then there is the other option of either doing a passage from English into Latin or a comprehension. So it's basically 50-50 split between literature
Just that line again, yeah.
Okay. So it's basically a 50-50 split between literature and language. And finally, hopefully you can read that. Latin is something that marks you out as different. It shows you not just prepared to do what everyone else is doing. It shows you as curious, really looking at things with a fine-tooth comb. And so hopefully in a few months' time, that might be you. You might be sitting here, I'm sure still standing here, and you have become a Bablake pupil studying Latin. Thank you.